This week's episode is brought to you by Audible, the leading platform for audio entertainment. We will hear more from them later, but now on to the show. Actually, okay, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Kangaroos over there,
Yeah.
are in the wild, do they have boxing gloves on?
No, they don't, but they can kick the crap out of you.
Well, yeah, I know that, but why? I guess for some, maybe this is just an American thing, but every time there's a kangaroo in a cartoon, they have boxing gloves on. Why?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense because think of a kangaroo like a T-Rex. They can't do anything with those fucking things.
Exactly, and their feet are the more powerful thing. Like, if anything, throw tennis shoes on them.
Yeah, because they have really sharp, long talons on their feet, and they can either kick you and break your bones, or they can claw you and probably nick an artery and you bleed to death.
Literally just rip you apart.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, I'm recording from my end. Are you recording?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even have a formal, like, whenever I do this now, I'm just like, I want people to just come into this like we're having a conversation, and then I'll just have an intro like 5 minutes in. So I'm perfectly fine with just going off the rails and just doing this or whatnot.
That's fine with me.
If anything, hopefully we had that kangaroo bit recorded, so then people are like, what the hell are they talking about?
My camera is recording, so it did catch.
Yes. Okay. So Ashleigh, the movie oracle.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is Movies and Nonsense, episode, 9, 10? I don't even know. I like how I do this, and I have no clue what episode number this is. But I thank you so much for, I guess, agreeing to be on the show, because I don't know why anyone would agree to be on this.
Oh, I've been excited. Ever since you asked, I've been, like, counting down. I'm like, is it December 4th yet? Well, 3rd for you, but 4th for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like, counting down to Christmas, but it's like, I'm counting down to being on Movies and Nonsense.
Actually, yeah, you're ahead. You're in the future, so what happens? Give us some tips and hints.
Trump's still president.
Ah, shit.
Sorry, I have no good news.
Actually, that's one of my questions. What is your perspective on America? Is it just as crazy as it actually is?
I think we're pretty much the same, have the same feelings as every other sane person in America. When shit goes down and the sane people like, just do something, fix it, it's not that hard. And then everybody's like, no, you can't do that, they don't work.
You don't understand. If you lived here, you'd understand.
Like when everybody hears, especially Republicans and the NRA say, no, gun laws don't work, and the rest of us around the world are going, but they do. And then people going, oh, you can't have, free healthcare, that's a myth, and we're all going, what are they talking about? I haven't paid for a doctor's appointment, I think, ever.
Oh my god, you don't understand how jealous that statement right there makes me feel. Because I remember, as an adult, I guess there's certain things that they don't teach you. Healthcare and whatnot is redonkulous. Like, I went to the ER one time, I will never, ever, ever go again. Unless my
die.
arm, like, I'm holding my arm, and I'm like, can you please give me some duct tape to put this back on? Because it is not worth my time to go in there.
Oh god, that reminds me of an r/slash story I was just listening to the other day. It was I think it was Petty Revenge. Some kid was doing some dumb shit at his college. He fell off a table. It sounds like a normal college story, really.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he broke his arm, like his arm completely snapped in half. And the paramedics take him to the hospital, and they don't give him any drugs. And he goes up to the nurse's station. He's like, look, I've been here for an hour. Can I please get something for the pain? And she's just like, yeah, sure, it's broken. Yeah, we get people like you all the time. He's like, okay, fuck you then. And he goes, ding, and she's like, okay, we'll get you something for that.
Ma'am, it is sticking through the skin. As you can see, this is my bone.
I didn't go to medical school, but I'm pretty sure bones aren't meant to do that.
I don't think this is right.
No.
Anyways, though, Ashleigh, the movie oracle, I don't know, do you go by any other names?
No.
No, that is it.
No,
You just got the
that-
2 names. Welcome
that
to
is
the
it.
channel. I guess people over here, they might not be familiar with you. I know the YouTube sphere and whatnot. You are very active on social media and you're a really supportive follower. I will say that.
Thank you.
But for people that I guess aren't familiar with you, kind of give your spiel, who you are, what you do, and where you're from, and all that jazz.
Well, I come from a land down under.
I set you up too good for that.
You did. I've been waiting forever to quote that song. Like Jared, I talk movies on my channel, from whether it be top 10s, reviews, countdowns, random crap, talk about facts and fictions behind certain stories, and now I have a podcast.
Yeah.
And I now host a game show. I do a lot of random crap.
I think it's funny because, well, how long have you been doing YouTube?
3 years now, I think.
Okay, 3 years. So I'm sure when you first started, you were doing maybe just kind of reviews and maybe, top 10s or rankings. But I like how you just mentioned you're like, I have a podcast now and I am working on a game show. It's unreal to think how kind of where you've started in 3 years and what you're doing now.
Yeah, the first videos that I ever did, which were mostly just me testing out the software that I had, like trying to get familiar with it. So I was making little fan tribute videos for Charmed, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so happy with how they turned out. And then from there, I spent like a couple of weeks planning my first official video, which was just counting down TV shows about witches. And it wasn't ranking them or anything, it was just going in like chronological order. And I worked on that for ages, and I was getting clips and I was doing edits, and I'm just like, oh, I feel so professional. And so that was the first thing I ever released, and I worked on that for weeks because I'm like, I'm going into a platform where there are so many people with really good videos. I'm like, I just want to make it look good.
I just want to fit in and be cool and look good.
Oh, fitting in and being cool, that has never been me. Yeah, and then it just I was a little bit apprehensive about doing reviews. I mostly just stuck to doing written reviews. I wasn't comfortable with getting on camera and giving them because I'm like, oh, I'm going to get so much hate. So I basically just kept doing topic-based videos or top 3, top 6, top 10, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I slowly kind of built my confidence up where I'm like, fuck the lot of you. I'm just going to do reviews and we'll go from there.
Yeah. I mean, right there, what you're talking about. I mean, just getting started and getting comfortable on camera is very difficult. Like, people who don't do this, they don't understand because you in your mind, you may have everything up there ready to go, but then for some reason, there's that camera that's on and you want it to be essentially perfect. And believe me, if you're starting out, it's never going to be perfect, so just screw it and just get through it, and it'll get better.
Definitely.
But you just kind of mentioned written reviews. Did you do written reviews quite a while before actual YouTube, I guess?
No, I pretty much started everything at the same time. I'd always been the person that people went to for movie advice. Like, oh, I want to watch this, I want to watch this, what should I do? Oh, I'm having a party, what movie should we watch? Oh, we're having a horror theme party. What horror movie should I watch? I'm like, excuse me while I get out my Rolodex. And so I had a friend who's just like, you're always talking about movies and all that stuff, you should actually do movie reviews. I'm like, no. He's like, you pretty much already do. You talk about movies on your Facebook, so why not just actually do that as a thing? So I did, and I just started morphing all my usernames and adopting the persona. And it's funny, looking back, the first film I ever reviewed was Deadpool. And
oh, really?
Yeah, that was the first one, which was also exciting because it was the first film I went to the movies by myself to see. So, yeah, it was. So that's a little memorable. Deadpool is now a special little film for me, and I didn't have much to say, and so it's weird because I've got a review that's this big, and now I've got reviews that are this.
Oh yeah, I feel like there's sometimes I'll see you post on Twitter or something, and you'll be like, well. Now on my 11th page of the review, and I'm like, are you making a freaking hour and a half long review.
Pretty much. It's weird. I
like
just sit there like, oh, I have nothing to say. Then I'm like,
oh yeah, it just flows through you. Do you? I guess before this or whatever, were you like into writing, like creative writing, anything like in school or anything?
Not really, but English was always my best subject. It's the only one I was guaranteed to be getting A's in. My teachers already said I was a very creative person, so I guess I'm just putting that to good use.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, at least you found your strengths. It's funny because I have to, I mean, with YouTube, you have to talk and you have to like write all this stuff out, and those were the two areas that I was the worst at. I can't talk. My vocabulary is very bad, so this is a daily challenge, to be honest.
Well, you're doing great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm like, you know what? Let's have a podcast. You can't talk, but let's have a podcast.
You're pushing through. You're persevering.
Yeah, there we go. Overcome, people. Hey, if you have hardships, just start a podcast, I guess.
Exactly.
But I almost want to go back to a little something that you mentioned, hardships on the internet.
Oh.
And you, I guess, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but okay. The film community is very male-centric.
Oh, and he's the first to mention it, not me. Okay.
Surprise, people watching this, you might not have known this. How have you, I mean, I've seen a few things firsthand that you've had to deal with, and I think it's ridiculous. And I guess I'm not even going to talk anymore. What kind of hardships have you had to run into just as like a film reviewer on Twitter, YouTube, anything? Like what would you run into as a female, I guess, that I wouldn't run into, or someone that maybe is sitting here watching this that wants to start reviewing but is scared that this might happen?
I think one thing is a guarantee that if you're on the internet, at some point you're going to get some hate. I think that part is just, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get it. But the type of hate you get kind of becomes based on, it's either going to be based on your gender or your race. I obviously don't look like I have a race, so all they can go for me is...
Nope, you're definitely white.
I am definitely white. Love to find out what's in my ancestry, though. But, yeah, the gender thing certainly did come into play right off the bat. I think it was the first proper review I did, which was for Underworld Blood Wars. And that one, I was very surprised because I had under 100 subscribers, and yet this video was getting thousands of views. And it was because we got it in Australia a month before it was meant to come out in the US. So therefore, I was one of the earlier reviews out there, and I was not at all prepared for that. At first, I was just like, oh my God, I'm getting views.
Yeah.
And then within a day, it's like, oh, there's a downside to this. And a lot of the comments were good, but then you start getting the dumb ones. And then I started to notice, I know that there are some guys who get this, but this is definitely what women get the most, where it becomes, it's not about them insulting your intelligence or your opinion, they will insult your looks. If you are a female, it's all about your appearance. So the majority of the comments that I got were fat, slut, bitch, whore, cunt. It was just all this, like at one point someone put in capitals, just fat, ugly bitch, and I'm just like, but you can only see the top half of me. Like, how do you even know if I'm fat? I'm like,
what if I have robot legs?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, whoa. And I'm like, well, what does that have to do with the movie? And I didn't get it. And one person, I think this one was the dumbest comment I got, which is said, well, I like the movie, so if you don't shut the hell up. I'm like, that's not how reviews work.
No.
I'm like, no. I don't. I'm like, what kind of logic is that? I'm like, okay, you're an idiot. And it just kind of became the norm of, it wasn't so much people coming for my intelligence. I like to think that I go in speaking very straightforward, and I give facts where I can.
Yeah.
And so it basically just always came down to my appearance. And I was just going, okay, I know I don't have any self-esteem, so this really isn't bothering me that much. I've said worse to myself. But I'm just like, what has that got to fucking do with anything? I'm like, oh God. So I started to realize that it's a common thing. And then you also get ones that suddenly it's the equivalent of the random DM. It's just they can't DM you on YouTube, so they just put it in the comments, and it's just like, and it's like, okay, that was nice. Okay, don't know what to do with this information. I'm not going to say thank you because I'm not thanking you because I'm not grateful.
I think you're being a little strange right now.
Indeed, some seem benign. And I have had people say, oh my God, you're so pretty. And I don't usually get those kind of compliments in real life, so I'm not offended by them. But I do see some women who get the comments of, oh my God, you're so beautiful. I wasn't paying attention to anything you were saying. That's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
And
I think, I'm not going to mention names, but I think I know who you're talking about with that last one. And it's so strange because going back to kind of what you were just saying, they can hit all over the board and they're not even listening or paying attention to what your, critical breakdown, because you're taking time and thought into these movies. Like, I think you even said there was one time where you had a ranking video and they weren't even, like, they commented something and it's like, clearly you didn't watch the video because, like, I said X about the movie. And it's just so strange where these people essentially get off. It's like, you're a random stranger, there's millions of people in the world, and you come to going back to your very, your review of that Underworld where you're a small YouTuber, mind you, there's probably a handful of reviews, who knows, you might have been one of the first ones on there. It's like how the chain reaction of all of these people somehow coming to your channel, and then they're looking for a review, but they're going to just attack you is so... It's this weird climate that we're almost in right now, you know?
Yeah. It is toxic and it's unfortunate. Like, the one that you were just mentioning, that was my top 6 TV shows that were cancelled too soon. And that was one of my earliest videos. And one of the shows I talk about was Witchblade. Don't know if you ever saw that.
Nope. I feel like it got canceled, though.
It did get canceled. It did, and it was a shame because I really liked it.
Let me guess. From the name, okay, Witchblade. I'm assuming that it's taken place... Okay, it's taking, like, medieval, like, witches and warlocks and stuff, but it's taking it into the 21st century. So they're trying to blend in, but they're living with old practices.
Kind of somewhere in the ballpark. No, it's based on a comic series, and it's about this kind of relic, and certain people throughout time, women, have been chosen to wear it, and it's called the Witchblade. And basically whoever bears it is like this protector and a warrior, and it's pretty awesome. And it's set in New York, and it would be early 2000s, and it was filmed in that time period where we're right on the cusp of 90s has just ended. We're going into the early 2000s. That tone, I'm like, I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, no offense to the main actress, but she had a little bit of a glug problem, and therefore show ended up getting cancelled, which is a shame because it was really good. And the very first thing I said when I said about Witchblade is that I'm like, okay, at number is Witchblade. Witchblade is based on the comic series of the same name, and the person commented like, Witchblade is based on a comic book series. I'm like, that's literally the very first fucking thing I said about it.
It's like, did you not pay attention?
I'm like,
what is happening?
I'm like, I literally even put a picture of a comic on the screen. Like, if you didn't hear it, you could have at least seen it. Like, why do I bother?
Yeah, see, that's the thing is, like, right there. I mean, you're talking about ones that people are going to attack you personally, but then you get the ones that are just complete, like, I don't even know how to decipher this. Like, the information's there. You're making they're almost like trying to pick a fight. You know, they're just looking to argue with someone. Hell, like, it's this weird thing too, where obviously if we're trying to grow our channels, we want people to see our reviews, and we have to use social media. And I have almost come to this weird practice where I limit myself to what I see and how long I'm on Twitter, because Twitter has kind of gotten, I don't know, filthy, trashy, hateful. It's just, there's a lot of, I'll see like 3 good things, and then all of a sudden it just takes a dark turn.
You gotta utilize the mute function.
I know, and see, that's the thing. I've never ever used that. I started muting a few people because, I don't know, the way it's set up right now is like a friend of a friend of a friend will like follow someone and like it, and then for some reason Twitter's like, hey, do you want to see this? And I'm like, no, I have no interest in this. Why are you showing me this?
Well, then you can at least just mute keywords. If there's words you don't like, you can stop them from ever showing up in your feed, which will block out a variety of tweets.
Like what?
Well, like,
honestly, I'm so dumb when it comes to social media sometimes. Like, I don't know any of this.
Well, like, for example, obviously in Australia, we would be getting Game of Thrones episodes a little bit later. So everybody, as soon as they watched it, were either live tweeting about it or we're talking about it right afterwards. I'm like, dude, I haven't watched it yet. You just spoiled everything for me. Fuck you. So eventually I started muting hashtag Game of Thrones, or just the words Game of Thrones, or GOT. And then I'm like, oh no, you people are spelling the words wrong, and they're getting through. I'm like, okay, now I've got to go through every spelling variation of Game of Thrones. And eventually I was able to keep most of the Game of Thrones talk out of my feed.
Okay.
So.
Well, I guess I'm just like, okay, that one makes a little bit more sense to me, because you're looking like for a centralized thing, but I don't know, how do you just stop people from, how do you stop, I don't know, just stupid, like hateful, stupid, just sexist, racist tweets? You can't, can you?
I've learned, well, if there are certain bad words, I'll mute the bad words. I already have that filter on my YouTube, so, but mostly on Twitter, I try my best to ignore it. On YouTube, I have a very strict rules on my channel, and I don't understand why other YouTubers, especially big YouTubers, don't do this. People are like, oh yeah, we've got moderators. I'm like, what are they doing? Apparently nothing. Because it's your channel and you make the rules. So you can filter out certain words. You can delete comments. Instead, you let these nasty, hateful comments stay, and then people feel the need to respond to them, and then you've got these people fighting each other to the death in the comment section, and it's like, this is worse than fucking Thunderdome. Like, at least Thunderdome kind of felt like it was reasonable. There was some sense to it.
Yeah, at least there's one in the end. In this, there's only one, you know?
Yeah, so I basically monitor my comments very closely. I'm okay. If you want to trash a film, that's fine. I do that. It's a movie and it's just an opinion. If you want to say something really hateful about a person behind the film or an actor, or start wanting to comment on their looks, like, oh, she's fat and ugly, like, what does that got to do with her acting? Or you want to start saying shit about me, or even saying other shit about other people in my comments, I'm deleting your comment and I'm blocking you. It's simple as that. I don't tolerate it. I don't respond to it, because the thing with trolls is they feed off that shit. It doesn't matter if you're like, I'm going to get them back with something witty. It's like, well, you responded and they wanted you to respond. I'm not going to do that, so fuck you. I'm just going to drown you out and act like you never existed.
That's definitely what they're looking for, yeah.
Because we all get it, and I know you especially get it with, like, I still can't believe that you get this with your, poorly explained videos, and they're like, you explained that poorly. It's like, that was the whole freaking point.
I guess my thing is, I've had a lot of conversations with just kind of friends and other, I guess, creators. I very much am in this weird area where it's like, am I doing movies? Am I doing comedy? Am I doing both? And I have found out that the internet is very stupid. Because the video clearly says ending explained poorly.
Yeah.
And all of these people are jumping in there, and that's just one example, but they're jumping in there like, did you watch the movie? That's not how it went, or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what? Am I the one taking crazy pills here? None of this makes sense.
Yes, you are, Magatu. Yes, you are.
Yes, because that's the thing. I don't know. Internet, dumb. Nothing makes sense. Hateful comments and whatnot.
It amazes me that people on the internet can be that dumb when they have Google at their fingertips. Like, how did...
Oh, yeah. Oh, that... You know what? This is almost like a borderline rant. I hate Facebook because, okay, Google, if you're looking... Hey, you see people on Facebook, maybe not as much anymore, but they'll be like, hey, does anyone know where I can find a good dog groomer? If you type in dog groomer into Google, it'll give you a list. Just a heads up.
And a map.
Yeah. And their hours and their phone number and their rates. Like, stop asking your friends. I don't own a dog. Maybe I should just tell them where to go. Stupid.
It is. It's amazing what people say, how people react, and then when I watch people get so butthurt over somebody else's opinion, I'm like, oh, why? Like, do you have nothing else in your life?
But Ashleigh, you liked Charlie's Angels, so I don't know if I can follow you anymore.
I can like something and I can still trash it. I'm obsessed with Charmed. Watch me trash season 8. But
actually, you know, okay, no, keep going.
No, you.
I was gonna say, you brought up Charmed.
I did.
You, from what I've gathered,
okay,
you are like the biggest charm person in maybe the world. How or why or what's the inception with that?
Break down Inception for me.
Well, like, how did you become a fan, and why? Like, what fueled your love for Charmed so much? Because I'm assuming the original series you loved, you own all of the merch and whatnot. But yeah, exactly. If people can see that, I'll zoom in right there. But how or why?
I just remember being 7 years old and the first trailer came on the TV and it felt spooky, but not in a scary way. Kind of like, you know, I guess trick-or-treating on Halloween, you know, that fun, spooky feeling. And it was so magical. I'm like, oh, I see pretty magic, but not like like overtly magical. And it just kind of really caught my eye. And there was this music that they had, and it's actually the music that I think they had it in the trailer, and it was the very same melody that opens the very first episode. And it's probably my favorite shot of the entire series. This melody, I'm just like, oh, I'm in for something fun. And I immediately was hooked on it. It was there was also, even for someone who was really young, there was a lot about the characters in the story that I could relate to. Especially the girls, their father had left them when they were very young, and so they didn't have a male role model in their life. That was something that I could definitely relate to. And there was even an episode where he came back in the picture, and there were just some words that were said, especially by Prue, like, oh god, she had this line where she said, no one can hurt us as bad as you. And this is coming from someone who's just learned she's a witch and they're fighting warlocks who are trying to kill them. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And so there's always been the fact that it focused on family and their personal lives before it focused on magic. That was always a secondary thing, and it just always became something I could relate to. And then after that, it quickly became an escape because I was so badly bullied in school and life was just shit. And for me, it was just like, oh my god, Charms on, okay, for a whole hour, nothing else exists. And that became my happy place. And then Charmed ended, and I'm like, now what do I do? I'm like, watch the DVDs, collect the merchandise. I will forever surround myself like a friggin' wall, like the wall of China, but it's just Charmed.
Yeah. You got the wall of Charmed. Well, you know what? Hey, that's great, because I was always curious, because I know that you'd always like tweet about it, the new season or whatever. And then I think we had a collab previously, and I might have brought it up, but I never got the full story of kind of why you were so in depth on Charmed and whatnot.
I think it goes with why, you know, most people have that one thing that they're really passionate about. And it tends to come down to the same thing. It's like you went through something bad or you had some bad times. It was just that one thing that you could always turn to. And Charm was that for me, which is almost ironic because Charmed also caused most of my bullying in school. And yet that didn't deter me at all. It's just like, come to school, get bullied. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm still going to go home and watch Charmed, so fuck you.
Well, you know what? I like that because, you know, at that earlier age or whatever, a lot of people, if they're getting bullied about something, they're just going to stop doing it. So, like, more power to you.
I was never someone who caved to peer pressure. Peer pressure and anything that was, like, popular always had the opposite effect on me. Always. It's like, oh, well, everybody's doing this. I'm like, well, I don't really want to do it if everybody else is doing that. That's boring. Oh, well, we all hate that. I'm like, and? Okay. It's like, oh, you're this because you like this. I'm like, I'm still going to like it. Like, I can't change the fact that I like it. I mean, Charm was probably the one thing that taught me at an early age that people are fucking dumb. I'm about to tell you a really dumb story that makes...
Oh, this is what the podcast is for. This is your platform.
I was in 4th grade. Charmed was in its 2nd season, or at least was in its 2nd season here. And I was a Charmed lover. And there was someone who became my nemesis, I'll say, who bullied me for a good 6 years. Oh, the rumors they spread about me, it was diabolical. And he had gone to a friend of mine and told her that I was trying to put a curse on her. Which was weird because I was meant to be staying at her house that weekend.
Yeah.
So, like, we were running around the basketball court. Then we go back into class. She raises her hand. She tells my teacher that I said I'm going to put a curse on her. And I'm just sitting there like, what? And my teacher looks at me and goes, Ashleigh, is this true? I'm like, what kind of a question is that? I'm like, no. And they said, yeah, I heard you saying. I'm like, well, you couldn't have heard me saying it because I was saying how excited I was to be staying at your house this weekend. And my teacher gave me a detention.
What?
My teacher gave me a detention for supposedly trying to curse a student. And...
Attempted cursing?
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, the Salem witch trials are alive and well. Wonderful.
What the... That is bonkers. That is insane. How old were you when this happened?
4th grade, 2000, so I would have been 9 years old, I think.
Oh my gosh. What is... That makes no sense at all.
No,
I'm trying to just wrap my head around how that's even logical.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you said you were, or there was proof that you were doing it. It was just like, no, I wanted to spend the night at your house.
No, it's literally the Crucible. That's what it is. It's like, she made me itchy. I saw her specter in the night. It's like, oh, well, she must be a witch. Quick, let's go drown her. It's like, I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. And it's not even like she gave an accurate, she didn't say, somebody told me, she said, I heard it. And so it became her word against mine, and apparently because I talk about Charmed, that made me guilty. So, 9-year-old gets detention for witchcraft.
Guilty by association, I guess.
Pretty much.
Liking Charmed. Wow, that is a weird, messed up story.
All
so I'm
the things
assuming
to get
that
detention for.
Not bullying or whatever, but just people being mean. That probably just continued on then.
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought when I left primary school, which I guess you would call elementary school, just like, I'm going into a new school. Nobody's gonna know this stuff. And I still remember the moment it kicked up again. Walking down the corridor, one of the doors was open, and a guy was in class, and I happened to go to primary school with him. And as I'm walking past, he goes, "Hey, Ashleigh, cast any good spells lately?" I'm like, fuck.
It's like, good one, buddy.
And the guy next to him immediately went, "Why did you say that?" And he goes, "Well," I'm like, shit. By the next day, everybody was calling me a witch. I'm like, yay, high school's off to a great start.
High five, everyone. Jeez. Fucking people.
I know.
Yeah. I have some questions if you'd like to answer some questions.
I'd be happy to.
Actually, this one's kind of a good one that ties back to, you had mentioned, I don't know, you kind of gave a little bit of advice for people starting off on YouTube, not to really get too in deep on people's comments and stuff like that. But as someone that's kind of maybe has, just started YouTube or wants to pursue this potentially, anything kind of in movies, TV, anything like that, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't try to model yourself after any other YouTuber.
Do you love to read but simply cannot find the time to enjoy your favorite books? Or, did you actually forget how to read? Well, try Audible today. Audible is the world's largest seller and producer of audiobooks and other spoken word entertainment, enriching the lives of millions of listeners every day. With their customer-centric approach to technological innovation and superior programming, Audible has reinvented a media category and is the driving force behind today's audio entertainment revolution. And if you sign up today, you can enjoy a 30-day free trial, which includes 1 audiobook and 2 Audible originals absolutely free. Simply click the link in the description of this video to get signed up and enjoy unlimited audio entertainment with Audible. Now, back to the show. No, you're fine.
I know some people who are kind of modeling themselves after one particular YouTuber, I'm not naming names, but maybe that works for them, but that's not going to work for you because these aren't your ideas. You're just copying them. And you may think this is what I have to do to make things work. It doesn't. It has to be organic to you. Otherwise, people are going to be like, well, why should I watch or listen to you when there's like 50 of you? There has to be something different about you. Like you, Jared, you've got something that's really unique and...
Yeah, I don't wear pants.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta have something that makes you a little bit different, and you have to be confident in what you're doing as well. And if you're also one of those people who's like, oh, I didn't get any views on this video. Like, yeah, we're all gonna have those feelings and it is gonna suck, but there's gonna come a moment where suddenly that video is gonna get traction. Like, I did a review for one of the escape room movies from 2017. That was just me. I'm like, I watched it, I reviewed it, that was a nothing thing. It barely had any views. I think like a year later, it ended up on Netflix and a bunch of people started watching it. That now has 13,000 views. And that's a nothing movie. And I'm like, why were all these people watching it? I don't get it.
I think I remember seeing that one and I think you had tweeted about it and I was following that one too. I'm like, what did she do on this video? What is happening? But it's just time almost sometimes.
It is. And sometimes, a video that has nothing just in a year can suddenly have a lot going for it. You definitely need patience because you are fighting a saturated platform and you are fighting the world's worst algorithm. So
yes,
patience
1,000%.
You definitely need some patience here, and then just try to brainstorm. Don't focus too hard, but brainstorm and think, what is this one thing that I can do, whether it be how you edit or design your videos or a topic you can do that other people aren't doing. And then just try and put a little bit more emphasis on that, because then it's like, okay, I have this one thing that's unique and then I have all this other stuff. So all that other stuff will kind of get traction by association. So it's like planning for a big football game or something. You gotta have strategies.
Exactly.
Preparing for war.
I'm so glad. All those hateful comments coming at you. Indeed. I'm so glad you touched on a few of those good things there because, yeah, I see a lot of people. I mean, we've been around. You've been around for about a little over 3 years now. I've been 2.5, almost 3, I think. I guess another thing is you've seen a lot of people probably come and go. Like you'll see someone maybe start strong and then just disappear. Yeah. And it's because they kind of almost see someone or see a handful of people and they're like, I'm going to be that person. Yeah. And it may work, it may not work, but I hate to say it, but the reason that person is where they're at is because that's where people go for that type of video or that style of video. So I'm sorry, but if you're busting your ass, you might be able to do that exact same thing and surpass them, but then again, they have that many more fans than you, so it's like it's tough there. But also, like you said about, or mentioned, I guess, people aren't watching my videos. It for probably the first year and a half. I mean, for myself personally, I was so down on myself because nothing was working.
Yeah. Absolutely
nothing. And I felt like, I'm like, what? None of this shit makes sense. None of it works. And again, going back to your algorithm, it does not work in certain people's favors. Unfortunately, definitely. You can learn so much about it, but still never be able to figure it out because it's YouTube won't admit it, but it's ever changing. It's not a set thing. But yeah, your videos, it takes time. Honestly, like I had listened to another podcast and they said your first 100 videos don't mean anything. That's a trial run. And I think that that's kind of true. I mean, I'm sure you, for example, that Underworld one, that one took off. But I mean, for a lot of other people, I think for my first year, like, I maybe had one video that hit like 1,000. The rest of it was very low.
I think another thing that people don't prepare for is they get lulled into a false sense of security when they get that first video that does well. And they think, oh, everything's going to be easy. No. There were just there was keywords and timing that made that video work. Like for me, it was the fact that I got to do it before so many other people. I had to beat the US for a change. But everything else was not going to be that. So it's gonna be a while before the next one comes around. It's like the changing of the seasons. You're just waiting for summer to return. Because summer's my season. But so when I see people going, oh, I'm so depressed, my videos haven't done well, I'm like, yeah, but look back. You've had videos that have had thousands and thousands of views. So it's not to say that nobody's interested. There's just something at the time that's not working. You just got to let it happen on its own. But in the meantime, keep going, keep putting out content because eventually something's going to click. And then the others are going to have more stuff for them to look at. So just it all works out eventually.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that whole thing of, like, say you're hitting 100 views on every single video and then one spikes up to 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. Beyond that, you're like, holy shit, I've made it. Yeah. And then it goes back down for 2 months for only about 100, 200. You really do get down. But yeah, I think people need to realize that was probably a fluke. It was not exactly a fluke. It was perfect time, perfect place, perfect keywords. People were looking for that type of video. Yeah. So yeah, people, I mean, I'm not sure. Believe me, I'm far from perfect with any of this YouTube business. I don't have my own course or anything. But I think another funny one, and I know that you have a serial disliker on your channel.
I do.
When people, like, honestly, you just gotta, just be fine with it, because I found out I have one or two people that I know are probably listening to this now, because I know that they have to be subscribed or follow my channel. Exactly. Because within 10 minutes, it's a dislike.
Exactly.
So it's like, what's your game plan, man? What's going on?
There's something quite mentally unhinged about that. I'm not going to use specific diagnosis names because I'm not sure which category it would go into, but that's not the sign of a healthy person. That I've specifically subscribed, and it also means they've had to hit the notification bell.
Yes, so they get 1,000%.
So they get
So
notified.
You're my fan.
So they get notified just to give you a dislike. What? Why would you go to that level of effort? I don't get it. I go on the other day. I had not even... All I'd done is hit done. The video was there. I hadn't even posted a link on any of my social media yet. The video hadn't even been up for 30 seconds. I clicked on it so I could click on the link, and as soon as the page went, there's a dislike, I'm like, doesn't even have any views yet. What the fuck? So I'm just like,
what is going on?
I'm like, fucking hate you, whoever you are. And it pisses me off. And I'm so certain it's the same person who've gone on a dislike spree and disliked like 15 videos in a row. And then usually the next day YouTube picks up on the fact that too many dislikes happened in a certain amount of time and it picks it up as spam. So it erased half of them, but then the person notices and comes back and does it again. I'm like, this is fucking getting ridiculous.
I mean, in a weird roundabout way, that's helping your channel, because therefore if they're disliking it twice, you're getting 2 views. It's kind of a ding on you, because it's like, well, what the heck, what did I do wrong?
Well, not
But then you
always,
have to-
because sometimes I notice that because I monitor my view count with a lot of videos just to see if they've gotten any traction, and suddenly I'll notice a video has like 1 or 2 new dislikes but no new views.
Really?
Yeah, that's happened to me a lot, and I'm like, I don't get it. So what, did they just somehow...
They ghost disliked.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens, but I'm like, now that really pisses me off, because I'm getting nothing out of this.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if you can... Actually, no, we're not going to figure that out. We're not going to do science on that, because people are going to find that out, and those dicks that are disliking everything are just going to go on a spree. Yeah, but I do think it's funny that, again, when you first start off, a dislike really does hurt you, I guess, because, not your channel, but for myself, when I would get like 2 dislikes, I'm like, oh, what did I do wrong? What's going on? But then you have to realize after so long, it's just people that are being stupid, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do have a very controversial opinion on something, they might, dislike that, therefore dislike the video. But I don't know. I've watched a lot of videos of other reviewers I don't like, and I'm like, I'm not gonna click dislike.
I just turn it off.
Yeah, it's like that's another thing. All these people, they get these comments on there, and it's like, oh, what the heck, blah blah blah, and it's like, you watched 7 minutes of the video because you commented on something at the 7-minute mark. You had 7 minutes to get out.
Oh, I know.
You didn't.
It's so funny. I think someone did that for me, and it was one of my longer reviews, and they managed to comment on something I said at the end of the review. I'm like, that was 20 minutes. You watched 24 minutes before
Thank you.
complained. I'm like, that was a lot of work. I'm like, you just gave me 20 extra watch minutes, so thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, then some people, I don't get people who click on a review and just say, I hated this review, everything you said is stupid. It's like, what? Ugh. It's a review. A person has stated in the title, I'm going to give you my opinion.
Yep.
Whether you like it or not is not their problem. So the fact that you're like, it's like, well, this is false advertising. Well, they never said off the bat whether they were going to agree with you. That's not their problem. Like, I had to block someone, and it's someone I'd known for a little while. Never had a problem with them, but then they said something so stupid, I'm like, I don't want to deal with you. And that was when I did my ranking of the Final Destination films. And was it yeah, it was Final Destination, and they flat out told me that they disliked my video. They're like, I've given you a dislike because this was really lazy and uncreative because you just ranked them in order. I'm like,
what if I thought they were that order?
yeah, that was exactly it. And I love that Dan kind of came to my defense, and he's like, I would have ranked them the same way. He's like, what the fuck, that's so stupid. I'm like, it's a ranking. I'm not meant to be getting creative. I'm just meant to be giving you my opinion on it. And I'm just like, I'm like, oh, so what? Do I need to be juggling fucking circus balls while I do this? How do I get creative with a ranking? I don't get it. Like, this is so dumb.
Yeah, there's only one way to do a ranking, and it's your opinion. I don't know. I mean, I guess almost switching topics, or on the other side of the coin, we've been focusing on almost a lot of the hate of YouTube. I mean, you had mentioned right there, Dan had come in and for the rescue almost. There's a lot of good to YouTube as well, kind of the creators. I mean, hell, I've met you, I've met Dan, I've met a lot of people through this, so I think that there's also like really good community and really good collaborations and a lot of positivity as well.
I do certainly try to focus on that. It's why I try to get rid of the negativity from my channel, aside from if I'm just going to trash a film. That's the negativity I'll have. But I do try to put a lot of emphasis on the positivity and kind of like trying to reinforce that community part of community. Because they're just like, oh, it's a movie community. I'm like, is it though? I'm like, people are kind of nasty. So I'm just like, well, on
Just
my channel,
bit.
that's not going to happen. We're going to be nice to each other here.
We're gonna give each other thumbs ups.
Ding.
Okay, random question time.
Okay.
I know that you don't like the phrase guilty pleasure,
I do not.
but what is one of your all-time, essentially, guilty pleasure movies?
Guilty pleasure.
I don't know.
Again, that would to say I feel guilty about it, and I
know, and see, that's the
don't.
thing is, like, I think that phrase is almost, I wouldn't say outdated, but it's just, like, it doesn't apply. It's like, here's a movie that I love that everyone doesn't. It's like, it's not a guilty pleasure. I'm still going to admit that, like, for example, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I love that shit.
'Cause it's
I love
awesome.
that movie. Yes.
It's fantastic. It's extraordinary.
That was the original Avengers. You heard it here.
Yes, that's true. I don't know, because I don't feel guilty. People have tried to break it down, and it's like, oh, well, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to feel guilty. It's like a film that you know is bad. I'm like, again, I don't care. If I like it, I like it, bad or not. Like, I like Sharknado. Yeah, I know it's meant to be dumb fun. That's the point. It's meant to be dumb fun. So it's like, oh, that movie's shit. I'm like, dude, you're not trying to...
It's good shit.
It's not... You're not meant to be looking at an Oscar film here. It's the Sci-Fi Channel. What do you expect? But,
yeah, we're not going for the Oscars here.
I don't really have a film that ever makes me feel guilty. I'd probably say, like, the one film that I love that is, like, supposed to be a guilty pleasure because everybody else hates it would be probably, like, Batman and Robin, because I fucking love that shit.
That was a... Yes, that is a guilty pleasure to a lot of people, but we grew up with that.
Yeah.
That was like prime for when we were growing up, and it had bright
And the
light.
trading cards were awesome. They were really pretty.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you brought that up. I remember those now.
My brother, he had all the Batman and Robin and Batman Forever trading cards. He may have even had Batman and Batman Returns, but I just remember he had all these folders, and I was flipping through them like, oh, so pretty.
Oh my gosh. You just brought back memories, because I remember having the Two-Face one. That was like the one and only one I think I had.
Shiny and metallic, I remember.
Yes.
That was so
yes.
That was so cool.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. See?
Wow, I haven't thought about that in probably 16 years. More than that.
Oh god. See, you gotta miss being a kid. It's like you didn't judge whether a film was good or bad. You just were like, I like this movie.
Oh yeah. It's like, hey, if a movie was on, I'm excited for it.
Oh, totally. Not to mention, I'm sorry, people are like, oh, this film is so cheesy. You cannot tell me Batman and Robin doesn't have some terrifically quotable dialogue. Come on.
Oh yeah. That one and okay, Batman. Oh, it's Batman Forever. Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, because oh god, Batman and Robin is the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. All the ice puns, snow puns, perfect.
Not to mention, I don't know why. It's like, I will randomly start quoting that movie for absolutely no reason. Just be sitting in my room, minding my own business, and go, as I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug, this is a one-woman show. Why do I do it? I don't know, but I'm like, I love it!
It's one of those things I'm pretty sure, just from your childhood, it's ingrained.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, that's going to stay with you forever.
Totally. And then people are like, oh, yeah, well, you've grown up, so you obviously don't like it now. Nope, still do.
Still will turn that movie on.
Hells yeah.
I know that I just noticed on your channel, this is going to post about a week from now. You just did a ranking of the Home Alone movies.
I did.
Obviously, some of those are Christmas movies. Are all of them Christmas movies?
All of them except the third one. The third one takes place in January, and everybody has their Christmas lights still up. It's weird.
What, fucking lazy people? Come
That's
on.
exactly what I said! I'm like, Christmas and New Year's is over, people. Put them down.
Yeah, get on it. Because, I surprisingly, number 3, I watched that a lot when I was younger, but, they got a different kid in there and everything like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, with Christmas coming up, what are some of your, go-to favorite Christmas movies?
Well, Home Alone 1 and 2, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare Before Christmas, obviously.
Okay, is that a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
It's both.
So is it a Thanksgiving movie? Well, you don't celebrate Thanksgiving over there.
We do not.
So
he doesn't go to Thanksgiving Town, so no, you only see the door.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, I told someone that there was an actual door or Thanksgiving Town or whatever you had mentioned.
Yeah, there's a 4-leaf clover, so that's St. Patrick's Day. There's a turkey, so that's Thanksgiving. There's a heart.
Isn't there an Easter egg?
There isn't. Well, we also saw the Easter Bunny because Lock, Shock, and Barrel kidnapped him instead of Santa Claus at one point.
You're right. You're
so,
right.
Then we did see the Easter Bunny. So maybe it's also an Easter film as well.
It's an all-year movie. That's what it is.
It kind of is. I mean, we do have the narrator talking about holidays and all that stuff. And so, yeah, we have a love heart. So that's Valentine's Day. Yeah, they've pretty much, got about everything covered.
So Christmas movie.
Yeah, definitely. We have Santa and we have Halloween stuff. And so, yes, it's both.
It's both, all right.
It is both. But yeah, I have, oh God, it may be hated. I know, I only recently found out a lot of people hate this movie. I love watching Christmas with the Cranks for Christmas.
Okay. I had this last weekend my parents were down, and it was me, my brother, my sister, and my parents, and they all essentially agreed that they loved Christmas with the Cranks.
Yay!
And I get that never was like in the watch list for Christmas movies, I felt like. And over the last couple years, I've seen more and more people have love for that movie.
Really? Because I saw the other day, I can't remember which site was doing it, but they're like, okay, you have to keep one, and it was Deck the Halls and Christmas with the Cranks. I'm like, oh, I love both those movies. But all the comments were like, can we get rid of them both? Like, everybody...
What's Deck the Halls?
Deck the Halls has Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, okay.
Yeah, and
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Everybody was trashing these films, and I'm like, but Christmas and Christmas lights, like, come on. I love them. I think the only thing that I don't like about Christmas with the Cranks, I mean, I love the lights, I love the festiveness, but what I don't like is this part in the story where it's like, these two people, their daughter has left town, she's not going to be there for the holidays, they're the first time they're by themselves, and they're like, why don't we save some money and go on a trip together? You know, do something just us, which I think is perfectly fine. And the whole neighborhood is like, oh, you evil, disgusting people. How dare you go on a vacation for Christmas? I'm like, damn. Like, that's the only thing I don't like. I'm like, just let them go on a bloody cruise. It ain't that bad.
Yeah. Well, and also it's like, I guess I've never lived in a neighborhood where everyone's like hanging out like that, but yeah, people, the whole neighborhood is just giving them shade the whole movie.
Like the kids bring out Frosty, you're getting terrorized.
Yeah, and that's another thing, that whole subplot with Frosty. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Frosty like alive in one of the scenes?
I think that's meant to be like the equivalent of if you think of like Home Alone and he was terrified of the radiator in the basement, thinking that's alive. Like that kind of thing where it's just like, oh my god, that thing's terrorizing us and now we're afraid of Frosty. But yeah, I've got so many movies that I have to watch, things that are definitely my go-to, and for some reason I'm drawing a blank on some of them, but definitely also The Muppets Christmas Carol. That's also
I love that one. That one's a good one.
I have to watch that at nighttime on Christmas. That's the one that I have to watch.
That's your go-to Christmas movie? I
have my designated movies for designated times. Home Alone 1 and 2 I have to watch for Christmas Eve. I tend to watch that multiple times. The Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas has to go there usually as well. And Muppets Who Stole, The Muppets Christmas Carol. And then Nightmare Before Christmas can happen whenever, because I've like just watched it, so I'm okay with waiting a little bit. But yeah, Muppets Christmas Carol has to happen on Christmas night. Has to.
Okay, I'm trying to think other Christmas movies that... I mean, yeah, Home Alone 1 and 2 are really, like, that's a good one-hit, 1-2 combo there. What about Jingle All the Way? Where do you sit on that one?
Jingle All the Way is an every other Christmas movie.
Okay, you can only do it once every 2 years.
Yeah, basically, because, like, I'll watch it and I'm like, yeah, I still like it, but then also there I'm like, I can only watch him trying to hunt for this toy for so long. Like it was your own damn fault. You should have gotten it months ago. You were told to. But...
I need a Turbo Man doll. Hey. Ow, what are you doing? Get to the chopper.
Yeah, but also the Santa Claus trilogy. That's a good
Yes. Yes. Okay, Trilogy. You're on board for all three?
Yeah, I'm actually, spoiler alert, I'm going to be doing a ranking of those. But that's like, a harder one to rank in the sense that I don't hate any of them. It's probably going to be the first ranking I've ever done where there's nothing there that I hate. I do think the third one is a little less than the other two, but I still think it's super fun, and it takes place in the freaking North Pole, so what's there to complain about?
See, that's the thing, is it's so difficult to, like, essentially hate on a Christmas movie because, like, I don't know, when it gets to this time of year, when I was younger, hell, even still now, like, I get so, like, rambunctious and anxious when Christmas comes. I love presents, like... I used to, when I was younger, here's a fun story. Yeah, when I was younger, and apparently it happened to my dad when he was younger too, but I would get so anxious and excited, I would essentially just throw up. And they're like, oh no, we need to postpone Christmas because Jared's sick. And it was just because I was so excited.
You got that worked up.
Yeah, I get,
Christmas
I don't know,
cookies
I feel like,
everywhere.
Yeah, just everywhere. Like, I remember probably 3 different years, we were getting ready to go to, I think, Christmas Eve church, mass, whatever, and I threw up right before, and they're like, well, we can't go to church now. Well, just leave him home. He's fine. And I was fine. I was just so excited because after church, we got to open up some presents.
Aww.
So I was like, Christmas!
Oh my god, so you're basically like Kermit the Frog when he goes all crazy.
Yes, essentially I am Kermit. Which is another thing. Here's a funny story. When I was younger, I was obsessed with frogs, and they called me the Frog Man. So essentially, I'm Kermit.
Okay, why have we not seen this in a Jared video?
I don't know. Maybe I should do that as a JB classic or something. Just be like, oh, I was just out catching frogs. You guys, frogs are the best.
Oh my god, you should either that or dress like a giant frog. But because that totally kind of reminds me of a Little Britain skit. I don't know if it was a deleted one or not. Did you ever watch Little Britain?
What is Little Britain?
Oh my god, this is the second
time.
Is that
like Little Women?
No! God, no. This is the second time I'm mentioning it lately and the person doesn't know what it is. It was, was a British sitcom skit series. And it was just these two guys who play all these different characters, and it doesn't matter, male, female, it doesn't matter. They play everybody, every race, every gender, everything. Little Britain. And it's so much fun. And one of them's playing this woman who's obsessed with frogs, and it's her birthday, so all her friends have come to give her presents. And so you can see she's like wearing a shirt that's got frogs on it. She's got a vest that has frogs on it. She's got little statue frogs everywhere. They give her a present. The wrapping paper is frogs. So she's like, oh, I like this wrapping paper. Oh, yes, I'll keep this. And then she opens it, and they're like, and she's like, what is it? And they said, it's a frog. We got you a real one. And she freaks out and starts screaming, gets her shoe, and she stomps on it to death. And then she flings it away. And she's like, oh, but I'll keep this paper. It's beautiful, froggy wrapping paper. And it's like, they're all just
when did this come out?
It's been a while. It was out early 2000s, I think.
Oh my gosh. I like, when you were typing, I typed down Little Britain Frog, so I'm definitely looking that up right after this.
Yeah,
because
it had like 3 seasons, and then they did a Little Britain USA, so they had a lot of characters that were meant to be American, or the British characters that have gone to America, so there was a lot of American jokes for that. And then they actually did Little Britain Live, and they toured, and they did all their characters live on stage. There's actually still Little Britain Live. The entire thing is on YouTube. There's a whole video of it. Highly recommend watching it, because aside from the fact it's hilarious that they managed to do all these costume changes and all the skits live, but they also did a bit of interacting with the audience, which I always think is fun.
Oh my god.
But it was pretty great. I think one of my favorite things is when you see a comedy person live on stage, meant to be doing a performance, and then they flub a line, and they forget something, and then they just start ad-libbing, and I'm just like, yeah, that's the magic spot right there.
You're seeing, this is the thrill of live theater right in our faces right now. Man, that is something I'm not even aware of. That sounds awesome.
I'm going to tell you to do this right now. Google, while you're on camera, Google Little Britain Bubbles DeVere.
Little Britain Bubble...
It should immediately come up. It should say Bubble DeVere.
I see Bubbles and Desiree. Hold on.
Oh, good enough. Click on that one.
Oh, no. I got it. Okay. I'm clicking on it. We're not going to get a copyright strike, are we?
I wouldn't hope so.
I doubt it.
The manager is
Okay. So someone's wearing a wedding dress. Wait, is this a dude?
Yes, it is. In a full prosthetic outfit.
Oh my gosh. Oh, but I'm definitely gonna have to watch this all.
6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, done.
You know what? This reminds me of like old. I feel like there was like British sitcoms. Maybe you know what? Maybe I have seen this.
Maybe.
Because I feel like whenever I went over to my grandparents, again, they had like 5 channels. So like late at night when they would have to watch us, they'd always have like these weird British sitcoms on or like shows, and I never understood it. But I'm curious if that's what that was.
Might have been. I still love watching it. Every episode is currently on Stan, which is an Australian streaming service. So I'll just like binge watch them on a loop, and it does not get old. I still freaking love it.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to check out a few of those. That looked like just like weird, up my alley kind of humor and whatnot. Something that I'm not aware of. So thank you for that.
You are welcome.
Hey, we're approaching the hour. We can go a little bit longer, or we can wrap up. You can do your plugs and whatnot.
Hey, if you want to keep talking crap, I'm cool with that. If you want to go, whichever.
How about a few more questions? Because there's I touched on one Twitter one. I don't know how long this one's gonna take, but is it Kirsten asked favorite movies set in Australia?
Oh, Kristen, I do love my Kristen. Kristen is my current champ on my game show. So.
Oh, she's the current reigning champ,
She's
huh?
the current reigning champ. First female champ. Yay.
So that's my competition, huh?
Yeah.
As long as there's
like
no
that.
musical scores.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
You know what? I wish that first episode was recorded and you could have released it as like a bonus episode, because that first one was so much fun.
I wish this Jared outing me about my game show is that, and I do tell a lot of new competitors, because I have had a few technical glitches since then. It happens. You can't always predict how the internet's going to be, and that's just that.
No.
Jared was one of the first competitors on my game show, and we recorded that episode twice, because the first time I immediately started to edit and realized I didn't turn the mic on my camera, so I had no audio.
You're telling me you couldn't just like put in fake lip sync, like fake lip reading?
I'm not that talented.
That would have taken forever to do.
That would have.
It wouldn't have. It yeah.
No,
it wasn't. It wasn't too much trouble.
I'd still be working on it. And I can't believe that was a year ago.
I know. You know what? Right now, tell the people what this game show is, and after you do that, I'm curious to know like the pros, cons, and how much work was scheduling and just piecing it together.
So I have a movie trivia game show on my channel, of which Jared has been a competitor.
I'm coming back.
Sad fact, which makes my screw up so much worse, is he actually won the first game. He did win.
Spoiler.
He won.
Spoiler.
He won, and because I fucked up, we had to play again, and he lost. So.
I lost on a technicality.
Sorry. But
yeah, whatever.
I created because, one, I absolutely love movie trivia. It's so much freaking fun. My mom just bought me an entire box of movie trivia cards. I'm like, yay, Christmas present.
Nice.
I'm addicted to it. It's so much fun. And I also wanted to create something that was about bringing the movie community together in a positive way, where we're not focusing on difference of opinions, we're not hating each other, we're just celebrating the fact that we all love movies, and we can just kind of have a bit of fun. And I wanted to be really inclusive and not to get negative or go back on what we were saying about gender differences before, because as you mentioned, it's a very male-dominated area of YouTube.
Yes.
And it was that there are a lot of people, and I'm not saying these people are good or bad, but they've been doing a lot of collabs for many, many years, and I would be scrolling, looking at all the collabs, and I've never seen them collabed with a woman. Never. And I'm just, and sometimes someone would be asked about, and they're like, oh, well, I don't know any. It's like, yeah, actually you do.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Or they say, oh, you know, women don't really do this stuff. It's like, say what? Oh, okay.
Well,
Nobody told me.
if we look at the current winner of your game show, it's a woman.
Exactly.
So that kind of proves something there.
Yeah, and there are some who I've never even seen collab with someone who wasn't white. And I'm not saying that these people are sexist or racist. I just think that some people, especially white men, no offense, kind
Oh
of
no, we're the worst.
are kind of in a little bit of a bubble where you don't notice minorities because you've never been one, whereas people who are in a minority tend to want to be a bit more inclusive, understanding that it is an important thing. So I'm just like, everybody is welcome. It doesn't matter if you're a blogger, if you're a YouTuber, even if you're none of those things, or what race, gender, sexuality, it doesn't matter. It's just, if you love movies, come on, answer some questions and have some fun. That's really all it's about. And kind of showcasing the variety of people that are actually in this community. And that was a big thing for me and why I do it. And I love doing it. I just recorded an episode the other day, and it was the first one I've recorded since September, even though I had an October episode, but I had recorded it in September. So even I was like nervous and sweating. I'm like, oh, I'm out of practice. And it was nervous.
I'm out of my groove. I'm out of it.
Pretty much. And while I love doing it, I love putting it together. When you see the episodes come together, I'm really proud of how it turns out. But getting there is a fucking bitch. Scheduling is my nightmare. I hate it so much.
I can imagine, because I think that's what had previously deterred me from doing collaborations, because again, I mean, you live halfway across the world, so just trying to schedule that with one person is hard enough, and then you're doing 2 people per episode, like, so that's difficult.
It is, and I would have been able to put out an episode, well, I'd had hoped to put up 2 episodes last month, but there were so many scheduling conflicts that were going on that it just pretty much became impossible. And so I quickly managed to get someone and record on the weekend. So I'm like, well, at least I can now get some episodes up for December. I'm still disappointed I didn't have any for November. There's the first month where I haven't had any episodes up. But you just can't factor in what's going to happen, especially because everybody else has lives. I don't.
Yeah.
So I can, people try to be nice and they're like, you know, whatever time works for you, Ashleigh. And I'm going, I don't have a life. All time works for me. We're talking about you guys here. You're the ones with jobs and families and crap. So.
A lot of crap.
So.
Just loads of crap.
Yeah, it's exhausting, but I feel like it's rewarding and it's fun and it's achieving what I want it to achieve. I mean, the fact that I actually do have people who message me and they're like, "Hi, I'd love to be on your show." I'm like, "Hell yeah, get in on that shit." It makes me
I
happy.
think that right there, that probably makes you feel so good that, one, you're getting such positive reception from it. Plus, it's fun because, I mean, I love trivia. I mean, you made them way too difficult, but that's besides the point. No, that was just, I'm not good at scores. I'm not good at them. Shit.
He cracks under pressure.
I did actually.
Only
but
the second time around.
Oh yeah, I did that second time around. But I think you're almost, I'm going to give you more credit because not only do you have to schedule, not only do you have to edit, but you have to look up multiple questions for every single category. And I'm sure that there's questions that you have from the very first time you filmed this that haven't even been picked or used yet.
It's true.
But you had them and you were ready for them.
I do.
Plus each character, or not character, but each participant, you go out and do a special category for them, right?
Yeah, it's just me making sure I've got all my boxes ticked, that in case they happen to tie, I can't have 2 winners. So I'm like, well, we'll have a bonus round. I don't want to just pick another thing off the wheel. So I'm like, well, I'll pick something that's very special to them, you know? And so it's always different. And everybody's like, oh yeah, let's do this. I'm like, oh god. I'm like, you couldn't have picked something I actually know.
You couldn't pick scores.
I did actually have someone. They wanted to be on it, and then there was some scheduling conflicts, and so I couldn't end up having them on just yet. And I said, but we'll get to it eventually. And then they unfollowed me on Twitter. So I'm like, well, now I can't have you on because now I can't DM you. So I'm like, well,
what?
It was really weird because they had reached out to me going, I'd love to be on the show. And I'm like, yep, sure, all good. And then I kept messaging them. And like I said, there were a lot of scheduling conflicts. So I'm like, sorry, this has to change. This has to change. And I don't know, maybe they thought that I was being flimsy. I'm not. It's just, it's really hard to coordinate. And a lot of changes happen and they're unforeseeable. And then I said, okay, can't do this. But I'll let you know. And then, because I check my unfollowers and I check and it's like, oh, this person unfollowed you. I'm like, okay.
It's like, what the hell? What is going on?
So I basically just went, okay, cool. Well, never
Bye-bye.
mind. I'm like, well, I have no way of contacting you. Like, I could still probably tweet them, but I'm just like, well, you unfollowed me, so why am I actually going to bother?
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
you came to me. You came to me. I don't feel
Plus,
the need to chase you down when I have other people who are still patiently waiting and not complaining. I'm like, no, I'll save my energy for them.
That's what I was just going to say is you have other people that are definitely there for you. Like, you don't have to chase people. And I think those people are going to be more grateful for it, too.
Yeah, I mean, there is still, I think for the most part, majority of the time, everybody is super great. Whether they win or lose, everybody is such great sports. And that makes me happy because I'm like, yay, I am bringing out the positive side of the community where it's just about fun and talking movies. I've mentioned so many films that I haven't seen or that I love that everybody hates. And I haven't gotten smack talk of like, we just jibe stuff, but nothing, nasty. And I'm like, yay. And so it feels really, really good. But I do admit that there have, feel free to edit this one out, but there have been a couple bad eggs, and they will never...
No, you say that, no, I don't think so. That can't be.
They won't be welcome back on the show.
Yeah.
Ever. But,
believe me, that could be a whole nother episode of just talking about that stuff, but I'm not going to touch on that.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing is when I have to, because I openly admit that there are times I have screwed up a question or an answer, and I've actually recently done that in the episode that I just recorded, so it's all coming down to my editing skills to rectify it in some way, but I'm sure it's going to be obvious that I fucked up, especially to the people who are there and can watch it back and go, I knew I was right. And it's not so much that it's just like, oh, she's an idiot, she knows nothing. It's like, well, if I haven't watched the film, I'm going just off what the internet tells me, and the internet is not always right.
What?
It's like...
Breaking news, people, the internet's not right.
It's like, you know what they always tell you about customer service, the customer's always right? It's not true.
No.
So I have to go off that because it's not like I'm going to sit down and watch all these new films just to write one question. So I'm just like, okay, I'll do this and then fingers crossed that it got right. Sometimes I get it wrong and then I just have to rectify it in editing. But I always still like if I should have given them an extra point and I didn't, I still give them the extra point in the editing. And luckily for me, most of the time, it hasn't changed the outcome of who won. So I'm like, phew, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that did, then it's like, let's green screen everyone in somehow.
Yeah, it's like...
Make their mouths move.
If that was to happen, I'd have to contact people going, I fucked up. We're going to have to do this again. Not like I've never done that before.
I mean, thank goodness you've never had to film another episode again.
You were the first, but you weren't the last.
No, you know what? I liked it. I was so glad that you were like, hey, we fucked up, but we get to do it again.
Not first time, but not the last, because I did end up having to do that with Anthony versus Brittany. I recorded that episode 3 times.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Third time was the charm. First time, First time I got the scores wrong. I wasn't tracking them correctly. That was on me. So we had to do that again because I'm like, I think I named the wrong winner. So I'm like, okay. Second time around, my laptop gave me the blue screen of death.
No.
So
like during it?
Yeah, I lost everything. I'm like, oh, we were just at the final round, you bitch. And so then we had to do it a third time, and luckily, third time everything went okay.
Well, at least you had two reasonable people with that one, because I feel like there would have been people that would have been like, okay, one's fine, two, I'm not doing this anymore.
I was so grateful.
Yeah. No, see, that's the good thing. You get these good people every now and then.
I do.
Wrapping up though. Plugs, anything coming, anything new, because this will post about a week from now. So the platform is yours.
Working on a little bit of my Christmas content for the first time because I've not done Christmas content before. I'm going to try and do a like I did with Halloween, 31 Days of Halloween recap. I'm going to try to do that with the 25 Days of Christmas. Haven't started watching any movies yet. I'll try and do that today. Luckily,
I was going to say, you watched a ton of Halloween movies.
205, but who's counting?
Not going to brag, but
I watched 205.
In 30 days.
That is insane.
I
don't even watch that many in 2 years.
I don't want to. I might take next year off. But no, Christmas is a busy time of year, so I can't watch that many Christmas movies, although that many certainly do exist. So I'm just going to have a short version, so I won't be doing as much. But still doing some Christmas themed game show episodes, and there is a game show Christmas special coming out.
I think I might know about this.
You might.
And I'm very excited for it.
I'm excited too. We're recording not tomorrow, the day after that.
Oh my gosh. Well, good luck with that, because there's going to be a lot of ridiculousness, I'm sure.
I am most certain there is. I have no idea the insanity that is going to ensue, but it should be a good laughing time. I may have to try not to wear any makeup, otherwise my makeup's going to run from laughing so hard. But yeah, and then I can tell everybody that in the new year is the redemption set of episodes for my game show, and Jared is coming back. Yay!
I'm coming for that trophy or certificate or thumbs up, whatever we win.
And I have a few surprises in store about that. Only one of them I'll tell. Only one that I will say is that this time around, round 3 will be a lightning round. So
ooh, exclusive.
So round 3 is going to be a lightning round. So you're not going to have a lot of time to think. It's just going to be snap quick. But there is another surprise that will be involved with round 3, but that one is going to be only, I think, maybe certain episodes, and that one I cannot say just yet.
Okay, well, stay tuned for that, because I'm sure the redemption's going to be fun, but then also I'm glad for season 2, or almost are you going to call it season 2 or just a redemption thing?
Just the redemption. The redemption.
So yeah, definitely it's going to be a little bit more fun, a little bit more challenging. It sounds like a little bit quicker trivia.
Yeah,
so,
it's basically I want to have fun, but I don't want it to be identical to the other episodes. I want there to be something about it that's a little bit different, so I tried to change it up just a tiny bit.
Perfect. I'm very much looking forward to that. I would say I'm going to study, but I'm not going to do that.
We'll just hope you get good categories this time. Like,
oh yeah,
like maybe
fingers
comedy.
crossed. I got to
maybe comedy.
I got to spin that wheel and get good categories there.
Quickly go get The Secret, read it, and then put out all the good vibes to give me the categories I can do.
Yeah. Come on, wheel. One last thing. Did you just start a podcast yourself?
I did. When did I start that? A few months ago. But
because yeah, how many episodes? Who are you with? What do you guys cover? Plugs. Plug it.
It's currently on, we do a video version much like you do with this. So we have a
Okay.
video version that's on my YouTube channel, and then we have a just audio version that is on SoundCloud. I did recently submit our podcast for a review for iTunes. So we're going to see
Nice.
if I can get it on iTunes. We'll see how that works. And that is me and my co-host Ben Goddard of Ben Goddard's Movie Reviews. He was a former competitor on my show and had such a blast with him. And I said, I want to do this podcast. Will you do it with me? And that's called Switch Movies. And we're basically embracing the fact where we really don't agree much on movies. So we have a topic for each episode, a theme, and then we each pick a movie to do with that theme that the other person has not seen. That person then has to go watch it, and then we sit down and we talk about it. And yeah, we just don't really agree much at all.
Well, you know
we're
what?
waiting.
In a podcast like that, that's exactly what you need.
It works for us. It does indeed work for us. But we're gonna. We haven't scheduled this month's yet, but hopefully, because it's Christmas movies, we'll agree. I don't know. I'm scared. What if we don't agree on Christmas movies? What do we do
Fingers
then?
crossed. Just go to Hallmark. They have like 13,000 of them.
Yeah, Ben and I are in a little bit of a feud at the moment. We're in the middle of a movie feud. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Dan started it. It was all Dan's fault.
Oh, Dan, just poking it, huh?
Yeah, we did just do a Q&A podcast, and it's still the funniest thing I've ever recorded or watched back. Because
Is that posted right now?
Yeah, because you submitted a question.
Oh, yeah, look at this, going right over my head. Well, I'm adding that to my podcast to listen tomorrow.
Yeah, we've posted it, and it's in we actually put it on Ben's channel. I thought his channel could use a little, just a little something to get a little bit more attention. So we put that there, and we answered everybody's questions, and then Dan had a question which would seem so benign, and then it turned into the most epic rant from Ben on him absolutely fucking hating Fantastic Beasts 2, and
Ooh.
him discovering that I like Fantastic Beasts 2, and yeah, I highly recommend, if you don't watch the whole film, just go to like the 42-minute mark and just watch Ben lose his fucking shit. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
I'm excited for that. All right, well, Ashleigh, the movie oracle, thank you so much for joining. I like how before this I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous because we haven't I don't know, every time I do one of these, especially with you, because I don't know. But definitely I have a lot more questions because you're going to come back.
Yay!
Unless you absolutely hated this. But no, this was
I
like,
loved
honestly,
it.
we're at like an hour and a half almost, and this went like by quick, so fast.
I know.
So thank you for that.
I'm sad that it's ending. I was so
I know.
excited to do this, and I've had such a fun time, and I'm now sad that it's over.
Oh no.
Well, you know what? I'll have you back for the Redemption series. Redemption cast.
Can be
But
like
no,
can be
thank
like
you
a
so much.
counterpart to your episode where we just recap whether you won or you lost.
Yeah, exactly. We could do that. We could do if you want to be, or move. I don't know. What do they call, like, the Walking Dead after that? It's like after talk with the Walking Dead, or fuck. I'm gonna stop talking.